This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Strategies being implemented to tackle predial larceny, said Charles Jr. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Pernell Charles Jr. says the ministry, through the Predial Larceny Prevention Unit, has been pursuing several strategies to combat the illegal activity. Charles Jr. said it is estimated that Jamaican farmers suffer losses of more than $5 billion per annum due to predial larceny. It will be one of the issues of importance that we will tackle, because if we don't get this right, we cannot and will not have a sustainable agricultural sector, he said. The minister was speaking during the virtual Predial Larceny Essay and the Jungle Competition Awards ceremony on January 21. He noted that the ministry considers farm theft a critical deterrent to the development of rural communities especially, and consequently national development. In fact, it hampers the growth and expansion of local production and hampers the productivity in the agricultural and the fisheries sector generally, Charles Jr. said. Among the strategies being pursued is the proposed amendments to the Agricultural Produce Act to facilitate the effective regulation of trade and the movement of agricultural produce. Another critical aspect is the formation of effective farm watch groups, as well as sensitization and capacity building sessions with all stakeholders, particularly the judiciary. The judiciary is going to be critical. The partnership with the Office of the Chief Justice and the Constabulary Force is important, so that you know how to deal and treat with criminals when you capture them, and you know how to deal with those who are purchasing these items, Charles Jr. stated. 16-year-old boy among two shot dead in separate St. James incidents. A 16-year-old boy was shot and killed in Irwin Heights, St. James on Saturday evening. The deceased boy has been identified as Chris J. Thompson. According to the police, Thompson was attacked in his community by unknown assailants at approximately 6:45 p.m. Similarly, in the Green Pond community, 29-year-old Adrian South, otherwise called Andrew, was shot and killed by unknown assailants at approximately 12:45 p.m. on Saturday. The Mount Salem police are investigating. St. James has recorded some 19 murders since the start of the year. Devil, pepper, and a boxer among 10 wanted for crimes in St. Catherine. Several men have been listed as wanted in connection with a number of serious crimes committed in St. Catherine. The men are being urged to turn themselves in immediately to the Portmore police. They are Sheldon Wright, otherwise called the Boy, 27, of Spanish Town Road, Kingston 11. He is wanted in connection with a murder in Nagohead, St. Catherine, as well as illegal possession of firearm. The police understand that he frequented Nagohead and Bridgeport in St. Catherine, as well as Spanish Town Road in Kingston 11. Rudolph Shaw, otherwise called the Boxer, 26, of Ponzi Crescent, Longville Park in Clarendon. He is wanted for absconding bail. Maria Barnes, otherwise called Chesson, 24, of Gulf Gregory Park in St. Catherine. He is wanted for a murder committed in Gregory Park, St. Catherine. Marlon Barnett, otherwise called the Shortman or Jamo, 41, of Gulf Gregory Park in St. Catherine and the Tivoli Gardens in Kingston. He is wanted in relation to a shooting in Central Village in St. Catherine. Barrington Campbell, otherwise called Cooley, 32, of Central Road in Central Village, St. Catherine. He is wanted in connection with a shooting in Central Village, St. Catherine. Marky Mitchell, otherwise called Puddy, of Penway Passage Fort in St. Catherine. He is wanted in connection with a murder committed in March 2020. Martin Brown, 41, of Ares Close in Portmore, St. Catherine. He is wanted in connection with a murder committed in April 2017. Damian Henry, otherwise called the Devil, 21, of Burke Road in Old Harbor, St. Catherine. He is wanted in connection with a 2013 murder. He frequented Darliston in Westmoreland and Portmore, St. Catherine. Stokely Collins, otherwise called Pepper, 49, of Windsor Heights in Central Village, St. Catherine. He is wanted in connection with a shooting in March 2020. The police understand that he frequents Bull Bay St. Andrew. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of these men is being asked to contact the Portmore Police at 876-989-8422, Crime Stop at 311, or the nearest police station. Citizens are also being reminded that they will face prosecution if they harbor fugitives. Studio engineer charged after illegal gun allegedly found under bed. 26-year-old Jabari Campbell, otherwise called Wani, a studio engineer of retirement Granville in St. James, was arrested and charged with illegal possession of firearm and ammunition on Saturday. The news understands that about 6:30 a.m., the police executed a search warrant at Campbell's house, and during the search, one 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 13 9mm rounds was allegedly found under a bed. Campbell was arrested and later charged following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. His court date is being finalized. Six-fold increase in COVID cases at Bustamante Children's Hospital. As the country continues to record a spike in COVID-19 cases, there has been a six-fold increase in infected patients admitted to the Bustamante Hospital for Children. The news has been informed that the number of cases has moved from 23 in December to 137 as at January 17. Some of the children who tested positive had respiratory symptoms, including cough, runny nose and a fever, and gastrointestinal conditions such as vomiting and diarrhea. Several patients also suffered neurological symptoms, including fever with seizures. It's reported that a number of the children were found to be COVID positive after being screened for medical and surgical conditions. Sterling says leaders meeting with the government without contentious curry not an act of betrayal. Colonel of the Moortown Maroons in Portland, Wally Sterling, has rubbished the suggestions that a decision to accept an invitation to meet with Prime Minister Andrew Holness without accompanying Chief Richard Curry was an act of betrayal. Curry has been sparring with the government over the 1738 treaty with the British government, which granted the indigenous group sovereignty over their lands, making them exempt from paying property taxes and giving them full autonomy as a sovereign state. But questions have been raised in the government circles about whether the pact is still valid in post-independence Jamaica. Last weekend, the Maroon colonels indicated in an interview with the news that they would have been seeking audience with Holness to try to ease the simmering tension between the government and the indigenous groups, especially in relation to those in the cockpit country led by Curry. Their concerns had also been heightened following recent revelation that the government had issued a directive for all ministries and agencies to cease giving financial support to the indigenous groups. Following news that Holness, along with the Culture Minister Olivia Grange and the Minister without portfolio in the office of the Prime Minister, Robert Nestor Morgan, had later met with Sterling, Lloyd Latibaudiere of the Scots Hall Maroons, and Marcia Douglas of the Charlestown Maroons, Curry suggested that his colleague Maroon leaders renege on a plan for all four states to stand as one. Everyone decided it was in the best interest of the collective and maintaining the position of one conversation having to do with the rights of the indigenous people and the Maroons, Curry said on his Instagram page on Friday. Having agreed to these terms within the last 24 hours, most of my disappointment was the decision of the other three colonels. Sterling, the most senior of the Maroon Secretariat, said that an initial meeting was important for future talks. I don't think it is fair for Curry to ever think we would betray him. When we were contacted by the government, we insisted that Curry should be at the table, but they said no. Not at this time, Sterling told the news. As a unified body, we don't want anyone to think we are undermining them or being a traitor, he added. Latibaudiere also insisted that last week's meeting was necessary to quell the tension and set the pace for Curry's participation in the next meeting, but the Accompong leader argued that an icebreaker meeting which does not involve the voice of the representative of the territory that seems to be causing all the chaos was nonsensical. There's an element of trust that needs to be babied, that needs to be preserved. Nanny of the Maroons wasn't the only Maroon hero, Curry said. Many talk and they have never been here. They don't know what's happening. There's been so much funding that has come into this country on behalf of the indigenous people, and none of it gets spent here, he charged. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.